Hello, everyone. Welcome to WMFG Tribe Talks. Once again, this is your host, Sonal Mazumder, and I am so excited today because this is a very special podcast. Why? Because Valentine's Day is around the corner, and we are going to talk about romance. And there is another exciting thing about today. We have three more exciting guests with us. So, without further delay, let's go and get introduced to them. Hi, everyone.
Hello. Hi.
So let's talk about you all. Can each of you introduce yourself?
Hi, Sonal. I'm Dr. Anita Gupta. It's so nice of you to invite me to this wonderful talk. I live here with a grown-up son. My son is in finance. My husband is in IT. I'm a physician, but I love painting and reading books and lots of hobbies.
Hi, this is Neha Thakkar, and I'm a mom first to two kids, one teenager and an almost 9 year old. I'm a regulatory affairs professional. I've been in the US since almost 16 years, and in my free time, with whatever I find, either it's kids' classes or doing some charity and watching a lot of TV.
Very nice.
Hi, I'm Minal. I'm a research physical therapist at NIH, and I have two grown daughters. And so I'm an empty nester. I have lots of time on my hands. And so because of that, I have joined Sonal's dance classes and participated in many of Sonal's events and look forward to speaking to you today.
Great. Well, I have also one more person, another WMFG member and a friend who is going to co host with me today. And let us hear who she is.
Hi everybody. So my name is Sandhya, and I am a professional podcast listener.
Oh, wow. No wonder why you are here. Because it was her idea to even make me sit in the hot seat and ask all these romance questions.
Yeah, I'm the troublemaker, I admit. So, Sonal and I got to meet each other 3 years ago when I joined her group. And we also, touch base on what to do for today's podcast. And we're going to talk romance.
But Sandhya, let me just a second. Let me just stop you right there. Romance. You're sure about that, right?
Yes.
Just make sure that it stays PG, all right?
Right.
I mean, because there's so many women and maybe men and maybe their families and maybe their friends are listening to us today. So I'm not sure what's there in your mind.
Thank you, because if you hadn't said that, I would have talked about role play.
Oh my goodness.
Spicy!
So anyway, thank you so much, Sonal, for asking me to join you as your co-host. Okay, girls, are you ready to be on the hot seat? What we're going to do is we're just going to start off with whatever's on top of your mind about romance. So no preparation. Neha, I'm going to ask you, with your situation today, which you described as very busy, what is romance to you today with your life being what it is?
Romance to me today is khichdi made by my husband on a cold fall day after a crazy work day without asking and exactly to my liking. So to me, it's just a warm one-pot meal on a fall day.
Amazing.
Relatable, so relatable. Okay, so the same question. Let's go with you, Anita.
Actually, romance to me is it's a lovely feeling, and it makes me feel better, happier, and of course, definitely my hubby when he gives me chocolates and roses, that makes me feel great.
Perfect. What about you?
So, as everybody knows, my husband's love language is fruit.
I know that. I know that.
So, my husband, he shows his love by cutting up fruit for me. And now that my parents live with me, cut up fruit for my husband, my parents. And now for our future son-in-law, that's another thing that he does is that he cuts up fruits for them and we deliver it to them in New York.
That's so sweet.
So that's our love language.
Sonal, what about you? You have, I think, the busiest life of all of us
I
here.
know.
So what is romance to you today with the life being the way it is for you?
I know. I mean, I am such a romantic person. I don't know if anybody knows it. Like, I'm very passionate, very romantic person.
I know.
But of course, with all the responsibilities and my other passion and work and extracurricular, and especially with the 4 years old, it's very easy to kind of slip away. Romance is gone. But I think if you're talking about husband, and not other people who are like staring at you and makes you feel romantic. But if it is with husband, of course, I mean, if on a day I'm super tired and my baby has peed on the bed, and without even saying anything, he just comes and he cleans up all the mess, and then I wake up and see that everything is done and I don't have to even worry about it. I think I feel like so much love for him. I feel that, wow, I mean, there is someone, who cares that I'm tired, and, he can take care of it. So I feel that teamwork is very romantic for me.
So what I'm getting from all of you is it's the little things. So now I'm going to follow this up with a second question, and then I will tell you about my fantasy.
Interesting. Fantasies.
So, what was romance to you when you were in your early teens? And what I'm trying to get at is I am thinking there's going to be a totally different landscape. Again, Neha, go. What was romance to you in your imagination, in your fantasy when you were 13, 14?
Okay, so that's when I had my first crush, right? And in my mind, it was what was fed to you in movies, and because growing up in India, you never saw that PDA, right? So for me, it was whatever you saw in the movies, like a guy doing something outlandish for you. That is just crazy romantic. Not just chocolates and flowers, but like how you see, like in the back
Sing a
of a
song.
car, or in the back of a car, arrange a midnight birthday party for you, something like that. Was romance.
That's interesting.
I wish.
Yep.
Go back to those days. Huh?
Yeah, that's great. What about you, Anita? What were you fantasizing when you were 13 or 14-year-old girl?
Actually, I was brought up in Nigeria, West Africa. My parents are from India, so they had this the thoughts of that time. So for them, it was that, oh, no dating, no going out, nothing. But we could meet in a group. When I went to medical school, of course, I'm a big romantic. So my something was having. Of course, we have crushes. And like it was liking someone, holding hands with someone,
Oh,
getting roses. That was the most I wouldn't. But the thing is, I never dated. For me, even my parents were so strict. No,
but you hold hands.
no, but
But in your fantasy, you were
Yeah,
doing. That's
that's
I
good.
had fantasy and I had crushes. I would love someone, but not go ahead. But that's love. That's enough for me.
That's romantic. That's very sweet
But I
and
had
romantic.
my romance after getting married.
That's even better,
Yeah.
right? Lifelong romance.
Yeah,
That's
it was
perfect.
love at first sight for me.
Oh,
Great.
very nice.
We'll
Yeah.
talk about that later. So,
So
Nina, what about-
I'm going to build on Anita. My parents migrated here when I was a year old, so I grew up here, and my parents too were very strict. So no dating, no, not allowed. So even though I lived in the U.S. and saw all my classmates dating, I was not allowed to. So I had those fantasies. Oh, I'm just gonna like sneak out at night and have a date with a boyfriend, but that never happened because I was a wuss and I was very scared. But then when I graduated from college, I lived alone for a while, and I'm like, oh my gosh, now I can date. But then it was my parents were like, you gotta get married, you gotta get married. So I had the same experience as Anita. So even though I was surrounded by all love language here in the U.S., I did not act upon it. But again, I would have liked the romance of the flowers and the small acts of love kind of thing. So
I don't think that was allowed for us
Yeah.
either. Me and Sonal kind of grew up in the same
Yeah.
area, like time, I should say, era, not area, and it was the same. Strict parents not allowed.
So it is. Before we go to Sonal, I think it looks like that's the same thing. Even though Anita grew up in Africa and you in America, and we're going to get to Sonal, I think it's the same.
I think it's all about the Indian parents.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
And even about the kids, because lots of people told me I was the hostel. Their parents are not here. You don't have to listen. But I said no. I will know. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, same here. So Sonal, what did you?
Okay, I was on the contrary. Of course, parents wise, it was the same. I was, on the contrary, a very bold girl, even in my
Not
teenage days.
surprising.
Okay, so romance to me that time was hours and hours of talking on the phone. And then my father would discover one day when the electric bill will come, or sorry, the telephone bill will come, that it's huge, and there was like same or couple of numbers constantly been, and of course that was a secret way of calling. So when everybody goes to sleep, then you call and talk to that guy, and you're calling the entire night, and that's the thing. And then you tell your parents that you're studying, but you're actually on the phone below your blanket, and you're calling, and this thing. So obviously the phone line was disconnected by my dad. So the romance kind of ended there. And one day my mom saw me holding a hand of a guy while we were somewhere, and she was in the market. And then coming back home, I got a tight slap on my face, and I was thrown out of the house. Then go out of the house, okay?
Oh my God.
And then that guy told me that, don't worry, you're out of the house now. I will steal 10,000 rupees from my father, and we will elope. And then I was like, no, that doesn't sound enough for me. So let me get back home. So yes, thankfully, no regrets in life. I have done all kind of bold acts. I got flowers, I got cars, I got everything, and I got slaps too. So yeah, so romance for me was very exciting during my teenage days.
All right. So this is what I had a fantasy about. Like I said, it didn't happen, and it's the same fantasy now. So I had this in my head. I was actually very romantic and also nerdy. So I was like, I want this partner, and we are going to appreciate art. We're just going to hold hands and go to a museum, and then we're going to just critique these like artworks, and then the sculpture. And because I was always interested in art and photography, and we were going to critique. So it was almost like we were such special people because nobody was in India like that. But that didn't happen. I was very romantic in my head, but it didn't happen. And even today, that would be my fantasy. It's just like going somewhere with a partner and going to a museum, stopping on the way, taking a photograph, and then appreciating, art and talking about art history. So that would be
Well,
my.
fingers crossed. Who knows? This Valentine Day, so you
I
might
think
find
I have to
someone
date one of you. Now that you guys know it, you take me out.
anytime.
We don't hold your hands in the
Thank you for appreciating us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I think we are, even though you were bold, but I think our society was the same.
Yeah.
Like preventing and
Well,
prohibiting.
I think in a way that was also very romantic because they kind of stopped us. We had inculcated just so much fantasies within us.
Yes.
The feeling of romance is more because once I've understood. Once you're done, you're done. Once
Yes.
you hold hand, you hold hand,
Yes.
right? But the
Anticipation.
urge,
The
crave,
anticipation,
yeah,
yes.
And the
to do it,
Anticipation. Yeah.
to do it, the crave
The
is so
charm
romantic.
stays longer. The
It charm
definitely
stays longer.
longer.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think is the most romantic thing that I have seen in Hindi movies is where the hero and heroine don't even touch each other, but they see each other across, and then there's that deep eye connection.
Yeah.
And everybody's doing their thing, but these two hold their. I think that is just hits you right in the heart.
Right in the heart.
But
Is that for
today,
real though? Is that for real?
Oh, that is real. That is real.
so you guys now. I think you have to have some romantic goals since we kind of, are in this busy world and, for the well-being, right?
Yeah, Sandhya, can I maybe stop and just
Yeah.
say a few things about? So this is for all of you and also for the audience who is listening to our podcast. That why did even we are talking about romance today? So as probably most of us know, and then we have Anita and Meena and a lot of people here who are from the healthcare background. That romance has a big significance to your well-being, to your body and mind, to your mental well-being. So when you feel romantic, when you have this relationship with other person, when you feel all these different emotions, it's automatically a mental boost. It makes you feel happier. It makes you feel less stressed. So it's definitely a stress reducer. It makes you feel much more happy. And also it is a confidence booster. So if a person is making you feel romantic, you feel like you have something nice about yourself. You look beautiful, or you have a nice personality, or maybe something you talked about made the person feel better. So you're a good talker, or maybe you cook something that the person appreciates. That means you're a good cook. So it's something positive about yourself. So that's definitely going to boost your confidence. So romance has a direct relationship. Of course, it helps in releasing the oxytocin hormone, which is definitely, response to the stress, the stress response or the stress stimuli, and it helps you to reduce the stress. So it really enhances your mental well-being. And of course, when you're mentally happy, you're physically also more powerful, and you can take care of your physical body also very well. So I think talking about the romance has direct relationship with your health and fitness. So yes, definitely we should talk about romance. We should talk about romantic goals, no matter in whatever phase of life we are.
And we should actually have more romance in our lives, because we get in
Correct.
the
Yeah.
everyday thing. And it doesn't matter if you're married for 30 years or you have kids. I think we should inculcate it more in our life. So here's the thought. So have you guys ever thought, how we have all these goals, like financial goals and weight goals? Have you ever thought that, hey, you know what is it that I want to do with my partner? Maybe like do a date night or something like that. Have you ever thought of that?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
So yeah, I felt like, since our baby was born 3.5 years ago, of course the romance was dying down because of like overpowering responsibilities, of course. So, but I promised my husband when we were dating before getting married that I'll never let the charm go away. My husband once said that why do we need to get married? Because once we get married, the whole charm will go away. So I promised him that we will not let it go. I will not let it go away. I promise you that. But of course, it was going away because COVID happened, kid happened, so many things. But I always tried. I really tried. And he vouches for that. He says that you really tried. So my romantic goal always has been to keep that charm there. And therefore, this year, we joined the salsa classes together, which we wanted to do even since the time
Nice.
we were not married. And I think that is very romantic when he dances salsa with me. I mean, he's not a dancer at all, and I'm a dancer. So we are very polar opposite with respect to that. But he he agreed to do that with me, and we are doing that. That 1 hour is our romantic time.
Fabulous.
Even though he's still trying to pick up steps and everything. But when we hold hands and we do it and we look at each other's eyes, I feel like, wow, I mean, we have something, connecting us.
You're reconnecting.
Yeah, we are reconnecting. We have also started going to the gym together. I mean, he was again polar opposite in terms of fitness. He wouldn't even go for a walk with me. So I said, no, like, let's do something together. And now that he's feeling better after going to the gym, he enjoys, he doesn't want to miss a single day.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like doing activities together is kind of bringing back the romance. Then when we come back home and get busy with other stuff, we don't feel bad that we didn't even have time. So it is not about only going to date nights or only going to like in luxury restaurants.
Glad you said that. Yeah.
It is also about doing some common things together which we like doing.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
you choose to do something, and it doesn't have to be. I think we all think, okay, you have to have this, go to a restaurant, dress prettily and all that, and
Yeah.
spend so much
It doesn't
money.
have to be.
But only you, Sonal, would think like doing workout with your husband as a romantic thing. I don't think anyone will, but I get the idea that you're choosing to do something once every week. Anyone else? Did you even think about it? Do you want to do something differently?
So I appreciate what you're saying, asking about goals, because when I first got married, I lived with my in-laws until like for 19 years, and then my kids went away to college. My in-laws passed away. Then we had 5 years of just the two of us, and it was sort of like we had lived together as husband, wife, and then in-laws and kids, that we forgot how to act together.
Mm-hmm.
So we had that time to kind of reconnect and discover mutual things that we enjoyed. We love to travel. We would like to go to gym, but we kind of do it differently.
Mm-hmm.
So recently my husband also joined the salsa class. Actually, I was very surprised because originally he did not want to. And then I reminded him, I'm taking salsa class at Sonal's. He goes, I want to do it too. And I was so excited for him.
Does he
then
bring
we did.
cut up fruit to the class?
Oh, I'll have to
Next
tell
time,
him.
next time.
But so yeah, so so it wasn't something that I actively decided to do as a goal, but I feel like we have connected, we have reconnected in terms of like, and then again, I'm learning that romance isn't the flowers, the
Yes.
chocolate or whatever. It's the little things like remembering, like, let me tell you something really, he goes to the gym at 3, he wakes up at 3:30 in the morning to go to the gym at 4.
Wow.
And I get up at 4:30. And he'll come and give me, a kiss before he leaves.
Oh,
and when you get into bed, you wear your chappals and your chappals are
Yeah.
facing you. Well, or when I get in, he'll turn it around so when I get out of bed,
sweet.
my chappals are there right there, so I don't have to turn my chappals around.
Mina's husband is like 100 times more romantic than any husband.
So even that little thing is
No, I actually know someone who calls Mina's husband her boyfriend. He is like
Oh,
loved
wow,
by
that's
everybody.
amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, so
And it's not me, by the way. Someone
No,
else.
I agree what Mina's saying.
Yes.
Little things really matter.
Absolutely.
Really matter, yeah.
Because it shows they care. And then, like you said about the
Oxytocin.
that it just boosts your own well-being and you
Yeah.
feel good that someone thinks you're special.
And for that, you don't have to have sex.
No.
You can just those little
It'll
things.
lead to sex, though. That might lead to sex.
remember PG.
Okay,
PG.
So just one last thing about
Yeah.
the romance is that also the fact that he remembers to do things for my parents. Like today we went
Oh,
shopping.
that really matters.
He's like, Mom likes bananas. Let's buy bananas.
Again,
Your dad
food.
likes, so that was just like, thank you for remembering my parents.
Aw.
Anyway,
Yeah, for me, what both of you said, Sonal and Meena, my goals will be very similar, or rather, having been a part of WMFG, now I'm inspired and keeping wellness in front of me with everything else right there. So with that in mind, and doing all these little things, my goal would be to get to that level or still be that giver and not hold anything like, oh, I'm giving so much, what am I getting back? Not having
Absolutely.
that even after like 30-40 years of being a companion, I think that would be a goal met for me. So for me, that giving and not getting that in your head that, oh, I'm such a giver, would be a goal, a romantic goal accomplished.
Fantastic,
either way.
Neha. That should be anybody's goal,
Yeah.
I think.
Your husband
because
is very lucky.
yeah, I think.
Well, he does a lot of things too, so now it's
Oh, romance for me, it is a power that guides me through tough situations and makes me want to do more and more, achieve more for him, his friends, his family especially. So, and like I end up knowing more about his family than he. So he'll ask me, Anita, what did my mom say about this relative? Where are they? Where do they live? So it helps. So like for them, they're more comfortable to approach me than their son. And for my husband, he takes more care of my parents than me. Like my mom says, he's the best son-in-law, better than our son. And for me, like if there's a particular thing I cannot make, my husband actually went to YouTube and learned how to make bhindi for me. And most days he would make the breakfast for me, make sure something is there in the fridge for me, everything. I think small things matter and big things matter. For
And I
me,
know-
roses matter. So I've given him a list. The times I wanted rose.
but you made it easy.
I think
for
I
him.
need to do that.
Yeah. No,
And you made it easy. That's good.
No, but the thing is, I told him that, you know what, I missed out on romance because my parents don't allow. So now I'm married, now I want it to go on. I don't need champagne, I don't drink, but I want a gift. So he said, with my credit card, just buy what you feel.
That's so sweet.
That's very
I
sweet.
always know, I've seen you with your husband and
Yes.
I can tell how much he adores you.
Thanks.
And I think he
Anita is
also...
adorable.
Yeah, and I think I remember once, I think he did a shairi or something. I mean, not for you,
Yeah.
but if he's saying that for like
whole
everybody, I can
audience, yeah.
see how he would be like that to you too. That he has that inside of him.
Thanks. And he loves me so much that when he goes to his parents' house, like if I'm in India or so, he will not feel happy staying there. And if, like, there are 3 brothers, 1 sister in one city, so he'll want me to go everywhere. He said all the fun comes when you're there.
Oh,
That's
that's
so
very sweet. That's very sweet.
You all, everybody
Yeah.
has like great partners. I'm so happy to hear that, and that's what I think the listeners also want to know, that you're not having some fabulous life or something with roses and all that.
Yeah,
the small things. Take it
because
away.
we are mostly most of us are married and we are talking about our husbands here. I mean, though this is about romance and not necessarily has to be about marriage. But
course.
since we are most of us are married, see, romance has to also be. There is no like 50-50 there, as most of you said, right? As Neha precisely pointed out, there is no 50-50. We shouldn't like just wait and wait for the other person to be romantic. It's a feeling. It's a feeling within yourself, and it's a feeling that will enhance your mental boost and your overall well-being. And you can always generate that. I mean, you can always. I mean, there are many ways. I mean, it doesn't have to be a chocolate or a rose, but of course, as Anita said, if you want a chocolate or a rose, just go and get it. I mean, it's not a big deal. If the other person is not giving you, just. I mean, I have bought roses for my husband so many times.
Oh,
my
really?
husband doesn't like to.
You're romantic.
I'm super romantic. Yeah, I mean, like
Really?
my husband doesn't like to show off. My husband is very shy about express, like he's not as expressive as me. So I'm like, okay, if he's not giving it, I'll give him. Like it's like that. I gave him like the surprises. I mean, he doesn't know how to give surprises.
Did you propose to him too?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember you telling us the story.
That's why I said I know.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, I knew that he would say, like, he's also in the game. But I said to him that, okay, like, let's, I mean, I want to marry you, so let's get married. And till date, I keep telling him that even 2 days back was a propose day. I keep telling him that you propose me. I also want that now. I want that one day you propose me too.
Over.
A proposal due over, because somewhere the woman in me wants to propose.
special.
And then when we watch these Bollywood movies, which are like super fantasy movies, and somebody like all the time the hero proposes the heroine, I tell that this is the nature. You should have proposed me, but you didn't do. Anyway, we got married now, but that doesn't mean that you can't propose me.
You can do it again.
So he said that when it is our 10th anniversary, he would propose me.
Okay. That's too long.
So I'm looking forward to that.
That's too long.
I know.
Anticipation.
No, we will accost him one of these days and tell him, okay, just, speed it up.
Yeah, I know.
Because she's expecting it on the 10th year anniversary.
do it
Just do it earlier.
Yeah.
We will do that.
Okay, thank you.
So it'll be a surprise.
Thank you.
But all you told it.
But no, she won't know which year.
Yeah, she wouldn't know which year. I wouldn't know which
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
I think overall it's just two souls feeling it for each other and doing it for each other, no matter what, how. Just the connection, that the spiritual. To me, it's spiritual at some point.
Absolutely.
To me
And
too.
also, it doesn't depend. So, Sandhya asked one question about how it was during the teenage days. So, I think romance, like water, also changes its shape and
absolutely.
format at every phase of your life. So, if at this time or phase of my life, I'm expecting that romance will be exactly like when I was like 16 years old and how I used to feel about a guy and he used to do things for me, it's not going to work that way. That I would say like romance is more what Nina said, putting the sandals in a way so that when your wife wakes up, it's easier for her to slip her toes in. So that is amazingly romantic to me. Like when I heard, I got goosebumps. So it's like that. I'm like, next time I have to go and tell my husband, look, where are my chappals? All right. I think this was great, Sandhya.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One thing
This was lovely.
I
This
would
was
like
fun.
to mention that Sandhya, romance is not just husband.
Yeah.
It can be between anyone.
Of course.
It can be with
Absolutely.
a boyfriend, a partner, a kid.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
something
I would agree to
special.
that.
Yeah.
I feel amazingly romantic with my daughter.
Yeah.
When I cuddle her, like, sometimes she comes back from the daycare, she's like, Mama, I love you. And I cuddle her, I feel so romantic.
I know.
She will kiss me and she will cuddle me. I feel like that is amazingly
Romance,
romantic.
another word for romance is really fantasy.
Yeah.
It's in a different, transporting yourself to a
Yeah.
different time and place.
Pleasant fantasy.
Yeah, so this was great.
Sandhya, do you want to conclude saying a few words before we kind of close? And I let Sandhya, who was our amazing co-host today, and all the guests, Anita, Neha, and Minal, a big thank you for sharing everything, or something very important about their lives with us. So thank you, everyone. And
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the guests and Sonal for, I don't even know why you let me do this because, but I'm glad you did.
It's
because
just,
it was so much fun.
because all 5 of us are having an oxytocin release right now. That's why.
Exactly.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.